Today, we're diving into a father's travel journal. But this isn't your typical vacation recap. Nope. This is a story about a dad who intentionally pushed himself and his daughter way out of their comfort zones. It's about trading the familiar city life of Singapore for a world of new perspectives and, well, discovering a few surprising things along the way. And this right here, this quote gets to the very heart of the mission. This was never about finding the most luxurious resort. The whole point was to learn something, to have an educational journey wrapped up in a family vacation. It was all about gaining a new perspective by picking a place that would totally challenge their normal everyday life. So, how in the world did they end up on the island of Koh Samui? Well, as it turns out, it wasn't the father's first choice, not by a long shot. And this is where a really great story of compromise and friendship kicks off. And you gotta love his honesty here. He just openly admits, hey, I'm a city person. When it came to planning a beach trip, he was totally out of his element. And that humility, that's what set the stage for him to step back and let someone else grab the steering wheel. So you've got these two very different ideas on the table. The father, being the city guy, he wanted to go to Clark in the Philippines, mostly because there was a new Hard Rock cafe there. Classic. But his friend, Endrico, actually did the research and made a really strong case that Koh Samui was way better for the kids. They had a simple rule in their group: one ship, one captain. So Endrico took charge, and just like that, the destination was locked in. All right, so they've landed, and their first day immediately became this perfect mix of just pure wonder and the kind of small, totally relatable frustrations that every single traveler knows all too well. I mean, their first impressions were a real whirlwind. They were just blown away by the airport. It was less like a terminal and more like a little village of connected huts. Their Airbnb, a huge win, with this absolutely stunning view. And then, in a classic travel moment, their designated captain got them completely lost on the way to the first temple. You know what? It happens to the best of us. Now, this is where you can really see the father's tech-savvy side coming out. He's in a new country, but he has a solid 21st century plan, right? Go to the mall, get a local prepaid card, link it all up to an app, and then boom, pay for everything seamlessly with QR codes. It sounds perfect. But then, reality decides to check in. Despite all that effort, all the technical setup, he quickly finds out that on the ground, in the little shops and restaurants of Koh Samui, good old-fashioned cash is what really makes the world go round. And you can just feel the sigh in his words here, can't you? After going to all that trouble to set up the app, he just keeps having to pull out his wallet. It's such a perfect little example of where modern tech bumps right up against tradition. So if day one was about tech troubles, day two was all about the raw power of the ocean. This day was completely defined by a boat trip that was both incredibly exciting and, for the father, absolutely terrifying. And look, on paper, the plan for the day sounds incredible, right? A wild speedboat ride to the famous Pig Island, some chill kayaking, a delicious lunch on a quiet island. It sounds like paradise. But the real story, the one that sticks with you, is all about the journey back. This is such a powerful moment. It's the same exact 16-minute boat ride, but it's two completely different realities happening at the same time. For his daughter, sitting right at the front of the boat, bouncing over these big waves, it was pure joy. She was having the best time of her life. But for him, watching her, every single bounce was a jolt of pure anxiety. He was just imagining the worst. It's such a perfect, raw snapshot of what it means to be a parent. Okay, get ready for day 3, because it was an absolute whirlwind. If the second day was about one single intense experience, this day was just a rapid-fire collection of totally different island adventures, from wild nature to wild nightlife. And the variety was just nuts. One minute they're navigating this thrillingly steep and windy path to a beautiful viewpoint. The next, they're completely charmed by capybaras. And for dinner, they really leveled up their culinary adventure by trying crocodile steak. And yeah, they only told the kids what it was after they had finished it, a classic parent move. So the evening's main event started with a really interesting parenting question. Their friend, the captain of the trip, decided it was time for the kids to experience a, let's say, different side of Thai culture. Their destination? A cabaret show. Now, that is definitely an unconventional choice for a family outing, and the narrator admits he felt that little bit of initial discomfort that he often feels at these kinds of shows in Thailand. But then, something amazing happened. That discomfort just melted away when the performers started singing these super familiar songs from Phantom of the Opera and, of course, ABBA's Dancing Queen. In that moment, he had this beautiful realization about the power of music to just bring everyone together, no matter who they are. It was a truly unexpected, wonderful moment of connection. And so we come to their last morning, which brought the whole trip to a close. After all the high-octane adventures, it all ended on a really quiet, reflective, and in the end, very satisfying note. 40 baht. That's about $1.10. It doesn't seem like a lot of money, does it? But this small amount, this number, it actually represents the successful end of a personal mission that started all the way back on day 1. Because on his last morning, he finally did it. He finally got to use that QR code payment app that he had so much trouble with. It was just for a small purchase, 4 sticks of chicken sauté from a roadside vendor. But it was a victory. The tech experiment finally paid off. And this just brings the whole journey perfectly full circle. As they were getting ready to leave, they were once again just struck by that unique, amazing open-air airport. The very same sense of wonder that greeted them when they arrived was there to see them off, bookending the entire experience. And it all leads to this final thought. This father, a self-described city person, went on an island trip he never ever would have planned for himself. He faced down his own anxiety, he discovered wonder, and he found connection in the most unexpected places. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What journey of your own, big or small, pushed you out of your comfort zone and ended up leaving you with something truly unforgettable?